Welcome back to page 121. It's April 1984. You've walked into your game store and you've found this issue of Dragon sitting on the shelf. Brand new. This is the 84th issue of Dragon, out in April 1984, and it's the first to feature the Aries science fiction section. TSR had rolled the Aries magazine, which wasn't doing very well. It ran about 15 issues, and they decided to roll it into the back end of Dragon magazine. I, for one, was pretty excited about it. I only bought a few issues of Aries. It was not easy to come by, at least in my area. But I was excited to see it get rolled into Dragon, so I knew I'd always get some science fiction in addition to my D&D stuff. So today we're going to go cover to cover through the magazine. Also, quick reminder, please subscribe, like the video, and if you can help out the Patreon, I'm still trying to grow the channel, need a little capital to do that. Done with that part of it. Back to the exciting stuff. Dragon Magazine number 84 from April 1984. Today on page 121. Dragon Magazine. $3 I love to spend every month. This cover, I always felt this cover was a little out of time. It evokes more of an 18th century feel to me. I didn't feel it fit D&D very well, but I mean, it's a nice cover. And then we go inside, and the very first thing we see inside is create your own Rel Partha masterpiece. Rel Partha, I love their stuff. And then we get Iron Crown Enterprises. ICE is discover the action-packed world of Loremaster. ICE had a lot of stuff for D&D or D&D-like things back in the 80s. So this is April 1984. This is before they started doing the April Fool's stuff in every single issue. There might be a little bit here and there, but it wasn't exhaustive like it got later. TSR got a little too excited about that, in my opinion. I actually hit a point where I stopped buying the April issues because I didn't find them all that interesting. But here we have editorial by Kim Maughan, No Foolin', and then the Out on the Limb. Those are the letters to the editor. And continuing on that, and then we get great moments in American history. In 1849, two words that shook America were Sutter's Mill. In 1984, those two words are Citadel Miniatures. That's interesting, an allusion to the gold rush of 1849. And these were from Games Workshop US in Gaithersburg, Maryland. In the Victory Games world of James Bond 007, role-playing in Her Majesty's Secret Service, the excitement is just beginning. Of course, it's now His Majesty's Secret Service from Victory Games, New York, New York. And then the forum continues, various letters to the editor in a slightly different format, opinions, observations by readers. These are actually pretty good. Sometimes you get some interesting ideas out of them. Catapult Run, a complete original module for the most popular fantasy role-playing game, levels 4 to 8. $4. Hurry now, you can get it from Brampton, Ontario, Canada. Lords of Creation, fascinating new role-playing adventure from Avalon Hill. Avalon Hill was mostly known for board war games, but yes, they too jumped on the bandwagon and came out with a fantasy game. They were out of Baltimore, Maryland. Right on. Got a question about an article, got a subject you'd like to cover, go ahead and write them, get the guidelines. And then the Hobby House makes it easy to shop by mail. No internet yet, folks. Buy World of Greyhawk for $12 and get Endless Quest book Raid on Nightmare Castle free. That's kind of a good deal. Buy Monster Manual 2 for $12. Get Circus of Fear free. Wow, that's pretty cool. Westland, Michigan. Rel Partha Enterprises. What are these people talking about? Are we more dark than dangerous? More dangerous, I should think. I think we're dark and dangerous. All you guys who agree, raise your hands. And then we have the various characters there. I like Rel Partha stuff too. The old lead figures. They were truly lead too. Out of Cambridge, Ontario, Canada. The cast of Strange Familiars. MU's best friend comes in many shapes and sizes. Familiars in D&D are a tough thing to deal with. It's a first level spell, magic user spell. You can summon up this familiar, which gives you some temporary power boosts, but in first edition can lead to you getting killed awfully bad. I'm going to do a video one of these days on the Find Familiar spell, but that's a tough one to work on. Continuing on about various familiars you could have. Riddle of the Ring from Fellowship Games in Columbia, South Carolina. Find the ring and take it to its source with Gandalf and Frodo. No copyright problems there. Continuing on with our various familiars, and we've got Nova game designs. We've taken the dice out of fighting. Any two books from Nova's new picture book game, Lost Worlds, you would just display page versus page. So it was an opposing kind of thing. Page opposing page. I never played it, but I did see them. Very long article on familiars. Open your own magic shop for only $15. Dragon Tooth, New York, New York. I have this set. To my knowledge, they came out with 3 sets. I bought all 3. I got them, I think, at Gen Con in '84. And speaking of Gen Con, adding another dimension, you can be the judge, looking for masterminds to judge gaming events at Gen Con. And the top of this, of course, continuing on the article on the familiars, finally ending it. Your best figures deserve the best paint. The Fantasy Lords. This was neat. It was a neat time to be a D&D player because TSR had their own set of paints out. Mind Flayer Mauve was the one that my wife and I both got a kick out of, but they were all named like that, like Beholder Blue and Displacer Beast Black. They named them for the creatures, and we had many, many of them. They've long since dried out and been thrown away. But there were many others out there. And this was in an era where testers paint were what I started painting my figures with because it was what was out. That thick, gloppy model paint that we all used. And thin-your paints, I'd never heard of that. I had a lot of models that were painted with testers paint that had to be cleaned up and repainted. These guys, Grenadier models out of Springfield, Pennsylvania. The Ecology of the Trapper by Ed Greenwood. I always liked Ed Greenwood's ecology articles. Trapper is one of my favorite monsters. I took a look at it not too long ago on the channel. Really like it. We get the Saga of Haven continues in Secret of the Labyrinth from Game Lords Limited out of Gaithersburg, Maryland. And then we get an amulet, $7.75 for each. You could get a Pegasus, Crystal Ball and Dragon's Claw, or the Blade of Bingham. And these are all actual size. You could have gotten that from Troy, Michigan. $7.50 plus, doesn't even talk about shipping. Huh. And then we continue on the article on Trappers, Roleplay Campaign and Adventure Game Aids from the Companions out of Bath, Maine. Diamond Dice, Master Dice Sets from Diamond Dice, Park Ridge, Illinois. That's not too far from me. Worlds of Mystery, Worlds of Enchantment, the Worlds of Boris Vallejo. This guy did some beautiful work. I loved Boris back in the day. Let's see, in the Illinois one. Buyers, nope. And Woodstock, Friends Hobby Store in Waukegan, never up there. Games Plus, yes, they're still around. Mini Mall Hobbies in Granite City. Nope, I don't know them. Granite City is pretty decent amount west from me. Figure feature, text by Kim Eastland, photos by Shibe Studio. So we got a look at various miniatures that are coming out from different companies. Broadsword Miniatures, these are Atlantean figure line. I loved the flying carpet there from Broadsword. I didn't buy it. I wish I had. Grenadier models right there. Superior models again. I may have this guy. And Saxon Miniatures. Going to Off the Shelf. Various books that can get you thinking about D&D and just some fun reading. I always read these over just to see if there was anything I was interested in. Finishing up the books, we come to an ad for the Unholy Warriors are coming to your town soon, very soon, courtesy of Dark Horse Miniatures. And Dark Horse Miniatures retailers contact the fine Dark Horse distributors scattered all around the nation and up in Canada. That's pretty cool. Rapham Company out of Cambridge, Ontario, Canada. Bunch of different Citadel miniatures. I like Citadel. I like all the miniatures from this era. They were just, not all, but they were fun. Never the Same Thing Twice. Filling out facts and figures on the Rakshasa family. Rakshasa are hard to DM. Immune to spells. I think it's 8th level and lower. Just immune to it. Rakshasa are very hard. They can be an incredibly formidable opponent. I am going to take a look at the Rakshasa sometime down the line in the channel. Experience the realm of complete fantasy from Bard Games in Greenwich, Connecticut. At finer hobby stores. Continuing the Rakshasa article with different characters as Rakshasa, or Rakshasa as characters. Save over $40. The average guild member spends $100 each year on games If the same member were to buy the same thing at the local store, it costs as much as $160. You could join the Guild of Adventure Gaming out of Kentwood, Michigan, and save money, money, money. Label your letter, please do. The Egyptian Trilogy of Man, Myth, and Magic. And these guys were, sorry, no CODs, that's cash on delivery. They were out of Dallas, Texas. The Armory, new Armory paint sets. The Armory became a pretty big deal in the 80s for the paints. They did some nice paints. Like I said, my wife and I we were dating before, obviously dating before we got married, but we used to paint lead figures every now and again, just as a pastime. And we bought mostly the D&D paints, but we did pick up some Armory paints. These are good paints. Armory paint available from the fine hobby and game stores listed here. Let's take a look. Illinois again. Mount Prospect. That's Games Plus. Yep. Waukegan. Pegasus Hobbies, never up there. And that's it for Illinois. Okay. Science Fiction Gaming Convention Calendar. Get in your time machine. You can visit this. You can go to Origins 84, June 21st through the 24th at the Dallas Market Hall North in Dallas, Texas. And then there were three. Companion takes D&D game to even higher levels. The Dungeons & Dragons Companion set by Frank Mentzer was the D&D, not AD&D branch. I didn't buy much D&D stuff. It was completely compatible. It's just that it had a different flavor. And I only had so much money I could spend on gaming every month. And in addition to Dungeons & Dragons, lead figures and everything, modules, magazines, I was also supporting Traveler right here and lots of other games like Champions, Game World, that kind of stuff. So the area I chose to cut was D&D, the basic game. Put yourself in the story from Game Designers Workshop, Traveler. Love Traveler out of Bloomington, Illinois. I miss GDW. They went out in 96. Continuing on, the differences in D&D and AD&D. Fantasy Games Unlimited. We get offerings for Space Opera, Villains and Vigilantes, Aftermath, Chivalry and Sorcery, and Bushido. Out of Roslyn, New York. I've played Space Opera and V&V, Villains and Vigilantes. Gave V&V up for Champions. Continuing on, the summary of the D&D campaign set. We get the Complete Strategist. The newest adventure lies on the horizon. Complete Strategist. And I'm given to understand these still around. Some of them are still around. The Twofold Talisman. Adventure 1, The Heart of Light, a tournament adventure for AD&D game. I remember reading this guy. It was good. It was by Roger Moore, Phil Tetrazinski, Douglas Niles, and Georgia Morse. I mean, you've got some pretty good talent there. I do remember reading this. I don't think I ever ran it. I like the artwork in here. I like that. I getting shocked. We get characters in here. Always pretty neat. I always like that. Some nice maps, good layouts. Roger Moore always wrote a good adventure. And then we get an ad for the RPGA network. Player ranking system. You could join that. I never joined the RPGA back in the 80s. Silver Dawn. $5,000 quest tournament. So play by mail. Then we get the Palladium Weapons series. It continues. Various weapons around the world. Hard to come by in the 80s. Knowing what some of these weapons looked like, it was a bit of a challenge. You had to have good source books. A lot of us spent a lot of time at the library looking for stuff. We have some fiction here by Sharon Lee, Master of the Winds. And we continue through. Go to order yours now. Best of Dragon Magazine, back issues for sale by TSR. Is this TSR? No, this is out of Hebron, Illinois. You get different issues, back issues. Labyrinth makes good at Haven's offspring. Son of Haven, live up to the standards of the Free City of Haven. I'm not familiar with the Free City of Haven. Are you good enough to handle the most powerful weapon ever placed in mortal hands? Take the heat of supernatural battles. Take command of a strange and exciting new land. Make the legend come true. If so, the Temple of Zetania is calling you, or Extania. From J. Terry, Houston, Texas. Not familiar with that one either. All right, FRP's Gilded Chestnuts. The older they get, the better they become. So these are just some older offerings. being taken a look at. And some new takes on them, apparently. Chivalry and Sorcery, I was aware of it, never played it. Dungeons & Dragons Basic Rule and Expert Rule set. I've already talked about that a little bit. It was not something that I got into. And finishing out that, Chivalry and Sorcery, some capsule reviews. And then we go to Aries, Science Fiction Gaming section. I was really excited to see this. I had been aware of Aries magazine. I don't remember. I think Aries was available on the stands. I know I bought one or two, but those might have been issues that somebody turned in. But in any case, here we go. For Aries, we get a nice look from the editors at what Aries is going to be and a little synopsis of what's in this issue. So we get the Aries log, which is right here. And then we get the Lunar High Republic from Space Opera, the Zethra, enigmatic alien race from Star Frontiers, and Starfire Gaming. Starfire Gaming, in many ways, gave us the Honor Harrington series. The Lunar High Republic, there you go. That's cool. The Moon and Space Opera. I love these moon that they did. I took a look at the Moon and Gamma World and the Moon and Traveler articles a few years ago. Very fun. And then we go to Adventure Under Other Suns, which is Fantasy Games Unlimited, their take on essentially Traveler. The Zethra, an NPC race for Star Frontiers games by Ed Greenwood. Games Plus, your SPI specialist in Mount Prospect. Beyond the Quadrazone, the year is 2615. Interstellar travel has been commonplace for centuries. Out of Oakland, New Jersey, it's a play-by-mail, yep. And then we get some more going here. FallCon 84 in Bowling Green, Ohio, at Bowling Green State University. And of course, coming soon, Marvel Superheroes, the heroic role-playing game. This is a lot of reason why Aries got rolled into Dragon. They rolled the Aries magazine section in, and very soon it would be a large percentage of it would be given over to Marvel Superheroes, the heroic role-playing game. I tried that. I stayed with Champions. I understand a lot of people love it. I just chose to stay with Champs. Gamma World, you'll be devastated by the game. And this is for Gamma World 2nd edition. I've taken a look at a lot of these. Taking a look at all 4 of these modules. Legion of Gold, Famine and Fargo, Cleansing War of Garrick Blackhand, and the Mind Masters. Starfire Gaming ×3, 3 variations on space combat and movement. That was a tabletop Starship battle game. I never bought it. Like I say, in some ways, a lot of the elements of it were adopted into the Honor Harrington novels, among others. And then we get an ad for Nexus. Don't miss out on Nexus. Magazine from Amarillo, Texas. And Cast Your Own Fantasy Figures, the Duncan Company out of Calvert, Texas. Finishing up the article. And then we get the Gamer's Guide. Just different ads for smaller print things that you could get. Continuing that on, index to advertisers. And then some ads continuing on the article. And then we got a Snarf Quest. Yes, Snarf Quest was around. It's been around for a little while by now. We always got about 3 pages of Snarf Quest. What's new? I loved What's New. I still miss What's New. 3 pages for that. And Dear Phil. This is kind of an April Fool's gag on this page. Get some Dragon Mirth. And then we get Wormy. Wormy. There we go. And then we get inside cover is a series coming soon. Dragonlance, Dragons of Despair. I was really excited about Dragonlance. The world of Kryn. Ultimately a little disappointed in it. Low magic. The gods had thrown a mountain at the earth and destroyed lots of pockets of civilization. But that's Dragonlance. Enter J.R.R. Tolkien's classic fantasy world with ICE's new fantasy role-playing system, Middle-earth Role-Playing. MERPS. Middle-earth Role-Playing System. Had a few MERPS things over the years. But there you go. That's a look at the April 1984 issue of the Dragon. Dragon number 84. Let me know what you thought. Did you buy this guy off the stands? Were you around then? A lot of my viewers weren't around then. Or if they were, they weren't old enough to go buy Dragon. Let me know what you think. And any suggestions, constructive criticisms, comments are always welcome. And I want to thank you for your time. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you next time on page 121.